Guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sneaky. We're also known as Mom and All, and in this channel we are all about thriving, especially in our personal finances. We are future millionaires. We are a bunch of winners. You know when they say a bunch of winners, that's what we are. So if that's your type of thing, make sure that you click the subscribe button. We're giving you a minute. Thank you. And if you are already subscribed because you've been a subscriber, thank you. I absolutely appreciate you guys. So in today's video, I'm going to be answering the question, is the chartered accountancy profession worth it? Obviously, that's my point of view from my perspective. Everyone else's opinion will be different, but this is my take on the matter. Before I continue, so I am a chartered accountant by profession. I qualified a number of years ago and I've been practicing as a chartered accountant working for a financial services company, otherwise also known as a bank. So basically I have a video where I shared my chartered accountancy journey. You guys seem to have liked that video because it's got over 10k views at the moment, so thank you for watching that. And basically guys, then I'm gonna carry on with that video, basically letting you guys know if the career is worth it. And I know quite recently a lot of you guys have been upset, like the pass rate for board 2 was super low, especially for black people. It was 24% for black individuals, and like the overall pass rate was around 48%. So it's really bad. It means a majority of the people didn't make it. So, and in my chartered accountancy journey video, I shared like the struggles that I had basically in my journey to becoming a chartered accountant. So someone might be sitting back in high school or wherever you're sitting and you're wondering, is it worth it? I'm going to be answering that question today. So I'm going to be answering the question from two perspectives. One is the job satisfaction, like is it worth it from that end in terms of like what you expect, in terms of what you do on a daily, is it worth it? And then the second part of it will be from the money perspective, in terms of salary expectation, does it meet what your expectations as someone who wanted to be a chartered accountant? So first things first, when it comes to the career being basically what you imagined, I would say yes and no, but I'll give you guys an overall conclusion at the end. Basically, I would say yes, in the sense that of the things that you do study at school, that's what you're gonna get when you get to the workplace, but it's a little bit different. And by different, I mean obviously when you kind of are a student, you kind of get the full question context of everything else, whereas when you're in the workplace, you have to dig for information, find bits and pieces, basically piece the story together before you can even understand how to treat it and all of that. So it's not the same as just going to school and answering a question and knowing what to do with it or how to treat something. It's basically you finding the information and then making it work. And sometimes systems, sometimes you can find that the job is more about, do you understand the system, how it works, like how to load journals or how to like work Excel and different systems, rather than do you know what's the treatment of a certain item. So from that point of view, it's definitely not the same as school. But the satisfaction, the job satisfaction, I'd say it's there because the roles are super versatile. Like there are 4 majors in the chartered accountancy profession. There's auditing, there's tax, there's financial management, and there's accounting. Then financial management can even be split into 2, which is more of the investment and management side of things, and then cost management, which is basically like inventory management and those kind of things. So it can be, it's vast. So if you know already what you like, then it's good, because it means that you won't spend a vast majority of your career trying to find your feet, trying to see what do you like, what works for you. You'll know if you like tax, you go into specializing in tax, and that's what you fly with. So because there's so much to choose from, one might struggle and you might think, oh no, actually I'm not satisfied with the chartered accountancy profession, mainly because maybe you're in a division or a sector that's not necessarily what goes with your personality or with the kind of things that you like. So I'd say because it's so vast, it can take you very long to find your feet. And usually the job posts are actually looking for, it's either you're newly qualified, then they just want you, or they want someone with like million years experience. So sometimes it can be difficult to find your feet when you still kind of, you're not really newly qualified, but you also are not like a super expert at anything as yet. So it's all about basically knowing what you want, and the earlier you know, the earlier you specialize, then the better for you. But you can also play around, go into different like parts of, like obviously the accountancy profession. You can just play around with it, but the main thing is that if you don't train in the audit environment, the choices are already limited, because you cannot go to the audit route and find something that works your fancy there. You can obviously go the internal audit route for whatever company you work with, but it's different to obviously being in external audit, auditing other companies. Because if you're in internal audit, you audit basically different divisions of the company that you might work for. So when it comes to job satisfaction, there's also like the hours. Some chartered accountants work very long hours. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't deal. And some don't work too long hours. They can kind of find their feet. Like when I joined my organization as a trainee in first year, one of my managers was a half day. She used to start work at 7 and log off at 12. And she'd take lunch in between, and that was like her life, because she was a new mom and she wanted to focus on motherhood and not like the full-blown career woman thing. But she was obviously like a manager, so for her, I think that was satisfying and it was enough. That's why I'm saying it's all about you, what you like, and finding a balance in terms of working hours. Find something that resonates with you. Basically, you find what you like, basically based on your life and your lifestyle. And then there's also that in terms of how far you can go with your career. Like most of the CFOs and CEOs of companies in the JSE, most of them a lot of them are chartered accountants. So that's just testament to the horizon, like how high you can soar in the chartered accountancy profession. So you can be someone who just goes and works, and you like fine, you go back, get a nice pay, but you can also soar and be head of a company. You can be almost anything. Like even in the public sector, you can be national treasurer, you can be the auditor general. There's just, the possibilities are endless. So in terms of what you do on a daily, it's vast, but you can choose what you like and stick to it, or you can change around, especially earlier on in your career. So it can be satisfying in that sense. And also because the horizon of how far you can soar and how far you can really go with your career, it's really, I think it's satisfying. And for me personally, I've found a job that's kind of working for me in terms of working hours and kind of what I'm expected. And it's actually very different to what I studied. It's actually not what I studied for, but I'm doing it and I'm a chartered accountant, because you end up finding that you might not even be specializing in these subjects that I mentioned, like finance, accounting, blah 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 blah. You might be specializing something else like risk or treasury management, something totally different. But because of the skill set that chartered accountants are expected to have, then you can still go into other areas that are not specifically the typical areas. That's why I'm saying the horizon of how wide you can go is like, it's huge. And also like how high you can go in terms of the ladder, it's very high. So in that sense, job satisfaction wise, I really think it can be fulfilling, especially if you can find something that you do like. And then now let's come back to part number 2. Money wise, is it worth it? The answer here is a definite yes. And I'll tell you why it's a yes. It's a yes because the horizon, like I told you, how far you can go is so high. Because obviously if you're a CEO and you're earning in the millions, you'll definitely say being a CA is worth it because you're making that much money. But if you are maybe an average CA whose baby just found a job and kind of are getting inflationary increases every year and you're not making that much career advancements, you might feel like, it's not worth it. People lie. I'm not making millions. I'm just making enough to kind of get access to credit, but it's like nothing wow. So there are people who might feel that way. But also, I think to counter that, if you think of any other career, like there's so few careers where you can just join at this high salary, getting in the teens of thousands, going up as soon as you enter. In fact, usually after you qualify, you're earning more than like in the teens. Let's say I'm making an example, companies might differ, but if you like making upwards of 20,000 per month, like, or I'm talking about take home pay, then it makes sense that that I feel like that's a good enough pay, because how many jobs can do that? You'd find that our parents only get that far when they've been promoted like 10 times in their careers, and then it's like, ooh, they've made that much. Because I know, like, when I started working, I'm like, oh mom, this is how much I'm gonna earn, this is what I'm gonna do. And I was still a trainee. My mom was like, oh my word, you earn more than me now, blah 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 blah. And it was like, really? Like, I'm taken aback because of how much she could give me and do for me. But when we had those conversations, that I saw that, no man, this career means that I'm starting where people with 20 years of work experience are financially. So obviously that means it is worth it, because if you like find other people who are, I don't know, in different careers, man, even ones where you do study or where you don't study, it might take a while for them to get the pay that chartered accountants will get, maybe as a start. So in that sense, I really think it's worth it. And in terms of how far you can go, as I've mentioned, it's definitely worth it, because you'll get a CA who's earning 30,000, you'll get a CA who's earning 30 million, but they both CAs. So it's really what you do with it. So I really do think it's worth it. You do have to work extra hard, obviously, in order to make yourself seen and to do very well in terms of your managers and everyone else seeing the value that you add, because you obviously have to be a person of value. It's difficult for anyone to give you the money just on that piece of paper that you have, or those letters that you have at the end of your name. It always has to be about what you bring to the table. So is it worth it from a job satisfaction point of view? Yes, because like the horizons, everything is just so vast. And if you really are interested in the commerce field, you can really find your feet. And also like the entrepreneurial skills, oh my gosh, I almost forgot. You can basically know how to start and manage a company and do your own business, basically by being a chartered accountant, because we are taught so much business acumen, and we accumulate those kind of skills in the workplace while trading, and also like in terms of the content that we are taught. A chartered accountant should easily be able to start their own business and run with it. And obviously you need a great idea. So yeah, especially in the South African context, knowing the unemployment rate and the so many people living on minimum wage, I really think the money aspect is worth it, because like so many people are living on the poverty line, and because we're seeing the CEOs, the politicians, and how well they earn, we might think it's not worth it. Kanti, I think it is. To know that you can have a house, a car, and children in a nice little home and manage to make a living for yourself, I think that's really good enough, because everything else is after that is really dependent on how far you go. But knowing that the basic starting salary will get you all those things, then I definitely think the CA profession is worth it from the monetary point of view. So yes, job satisfaction is definitely there. You just have to find your rhythm. Obviously, if you don't even like employment, you have the skills to go out there and be an entrepreneur and do the most that side. And obviously also, if you want the money, you can reach for the skies, babes, and be like CEOs of companies, sit on boards. You can do a lot. And also, if you like, no, I just want to have a normal life and just live the nice middle class suburban life, you can live it and live it nicely. So I really do think both these ends give me the conclusion that yes, it is worth it. If you wake up and you find that it's something that you don't like, you're in the wrong field, then then it's not going to be worth it for you. Yeah. And if you find that you have other passions, maybe you're an artist, nah, I'm more creative and artistic, then you're gonna be like, this thing is not worth it. But you can always find a way to make it worth it. Let's say now you start selling your art, and then you can account for yourself, and you can do your own tax. You can just do so much. I really think it's worth it. Let me know, guys, do you think it's worth it based on your experience if you are a chartered accountant? And if you're still an aspiring accountant, did this video maybe give you perspective in terms of should you continue with the same zeal, with the same energy, because it has been so challenging? Let me know. But yeah, guys, nothing is ever easy. You just have to work for it, find your rhythm, and I wish you all the best, especially if you are still in the chartered accountancy career and you're just like, I want to find my feet, or if you're still like on the journey to becoming a CA and you're just like, it's so hard, I want to give up. All the best. Don't give up. At least become one, and then if you feel that it's not for you, then stop. But if you're like convinced during the race that it's not for you, then by all means find something that's for you. But yes, on my end, this is my report. Being a chartered accountant is worth it. That's it from me. I will see you guys next time.